Thank you for watching, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support.
King tides or high tide flooding is happening more and more frequently, partly in part to sea levels rising.
And now twice as frequent as what we saw in the year 2020, and that number may continue to rise. We've got Dr. William Sweet, oceanographer with NOAA's National Ocean Service, joining us now. And Dr. Sweet, thanks so much for chatting with us. First of all, let's talk about the problems caused by the high tide floods. Are they expected to become more frequent or maybe spread to even more communities?
Absolutely. The rate of high tide flooding has doubled in the last 20 years.
We've been covering it over the past couple of years on the Weather Channel, and we go out there and it's a beautiful, clear blue sky, sunny day, and yet there's water rising in the streets. Now, a lot of it are flood-prone areas.
Is there a stopping point for this? I mean, how high can it actually go? I mean, is it get to a point where these cities just eventually just get inundated and everyone has to move out?
Well, you know, that's a city by city community.
In the past, this king tide event was once or twice in the fall. Is this something that could happen more frequently and actually year round?
It will eventually become.
It's both a mitigation type, issue, and then think about, what can we do to hopefully slow it down.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean that's the bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something's got to change. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got lots to track here for us as we head on through the rest of the show, including, of course, we were talking all things Apple, right? And how about the Apple Festival that is taking place? Let's get you to that forecast, which may not be looking so great here as we head into the weekend. Some showers around.
We got rain. We got rain at the Apple Festival, but that's all right. We're going to talk apples today. We're going to get you into the out there with what we're dealing with out there temperature-wise, and then what that changes into once we get the cooler temperatures in. So for now, we've got a ridge over much of the country. It's meant warmer than average temperatures, but the Northwest, things are changing.
Yeah, you'll notice here as we start to work our way on into next week, look what starts to come in. Yeah, deep trough, and actually a bit of a low cuts off in that general zone, but overall, cooler numbers are on the way. Looking at that forecast here from the Climate Prediction Center, the temperature outlook towards the middle of the month, below average here in the west.
The east, we're above average. So if you don't want the cold, you're good to go. If you want it, you got to go west. But with that change in pattern and the cooler temperatures normally brings an increase in precipitation. And we'll see that actually across a good chunk of the Northwest, even part of the Northern Plains too.
So you think about it. Okay, we're bringing down some cooler numbers and some precipitation. That's going to be on the increase, at least the chances for that. That could mean some snow. And
that
you know
could mean snow.
And that would be kind of right on cue for some of these areas. Getting into kind of the early part of October, we do start to usher in that opportunity for that first measurable snow.
So far, we haven't, and no one's seen snow. We looked at this map before the show.
We're like, wrong with it?
It's blank. Yeah, it's blank. No one has seen measurable snow yet. And last year we were talking about snow back. Remember in Colorado we had that big snow in September.
Yeah.
So we've gotten through September. We're in October, and now it's sort of it's about time for especially mountain areas to get some snowfall.
And we should see that next 7 days. The forecast from the European model does bring some significant snows here for us. Of course, the biggest of the snows in the highest of terrains, but still, even some of the lower elevations could get in on this as well.
Yep, both models have it here. And does it go farther north? Maybe Northern Plains as we get beyond that, still yet to be seen. But we do know it will be good news for the fire situation in the west.
We could use it.
Pensacola. The rainfall chances continue, and we've got a flash flood watch up all across Alabama, much of the Panhandle, and then into Georgia and Tennessee too. The forecast for today shows the showers continuing. You see all this popping up here into Alabama, up into Middle Tennessee as well. That's that showery kind of activity, which could come in the way of thunderstorms. We'll watch for that today. Even more of it as we get into this early evening, and then overnight things will settle a little bit, as often happen with thunderstorms. But the upper low is still here, Alex, and it is drifting north. Compared to last year, it's hard to compare.
Yeah, it really is crazy. We're looking at here the water vapor imagery of Sam. Remember Sam that we were tracking for, it seems like, the whole season?
Yeah, week and a half or so, right?
There it is now, kind of making that transition to more extratropical status here for us. Pretty amazing.
That's really cool, yeah. To watch it go from tropical to extratropical.
Just like that.
Just like that. Now it's a North Atlantic storm. Don't take your boat up there.
No, yeah, that's pretty rough seas there for sure. Yeah. All right, what else is happening in the tropics? Well, we do still have another area to watch here. That's we've been following that over the last couple of days here around the Bahamas. Chances for development, not very great. There's just a lot of strong winds in the upper levels here that's around. So development, not really a thing that we're watching for, but there's still moisture associated with that, and that is going to be moving north.
It's already going to rain into the southeast over the next couple of days, but especially into this weekend, will we see some extra moisture get in there? And there's still the potential for development. I mean, look, a cluster of thunderstorms can develop into something tropical. So we keep an eye on everything, especially at this point in the season.
Got to stay vigilant.
Yeah.
All right, here's a look at that moisture associated with this disturbance. And you can see that's going to continue to work its way as we head on through the week up closer towards the Carolinas. So, yes, rain already was in the forecast. We just may have to deal with a little more as that nudges its way towards the coast.
All right, so that's something to keep an eye on. You know, at this point in the season, we do still have about a quarter of it left to go. You know, it's a long ramp up. The season starts in June. The past, 5 or 6 years, we've been starting in May. But we look at where we are, there's always that little uptick in later October, and then things still happen in November.
Yeah, I mean, there's still activity, maybe on the downward swing, but you can certainly get systems developing at that late season. All right, let's talk about what we dealt with in October of last year. And again, remember, we had to go to the Greek alphabet.
Yeah.
And these Greek alphabet systems, they were not puny little things.
No.
These were some pretty impressive storms that we had to deal with.
Yeah, we had a lot of flooding there in the Yucatan Peninsula. We had 2 landfalls in the U.S., Zeta and Delta. Of course, folks in Lake Charles not forgetting Delta anytime soon after Laura last year, and then Epsilon out in the Atlantic. So at this point, we had 27 named storms in October last year. We've had 20 this season, which is still well above average.
Right.
The average for the whole season is 12.
It was just that it was so extreme last year that, you look at it this year, you're like, oh, ho hum. But no, it's still pretty intense this year. Last year was just insane.
So we were already in the Greek alphabet at this time last year. We have 1 name left on our list for this year, Wanda, but we won't go to the Greek alphabet if we get another one. There's another list.
Another list. I can't remember the names of them, but they're all just proper names, just a new set of listed names that we'll be going through. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with that, but we still have a good bit of the season to go. That possibility is there.
All right, our question of the day.